The crypto market has been absolutely crazy for the past couple of weeks, but what if I were to tell you that all that we've seen here is really not that much? I mean, if we compare the craziness of the top of the crypto cycle to what we've seen in previous runs, it's been nice, but really kind of nothing. And I think for a lot of people, it's hard to understand how crazy it can get. I want to show you something today. I think the most essential chart to take a look at and to get some idea of how good or really how bad we are performing right now is the altcoin chart. So what you've got in front of you right here is just the market cap of all the different crypto coins, excluding Bitcoin and ETH. I think they should be kept separate for this exact example. And what you'll start to notice just by looking at it is, well, there's tops every now and then. For example, there was a massive top at the start of 2024, a pretty massive start at the end of 24, beginning of 2025. And right now we've gotten ourselves, after this little low, we're finding ourselves to potentially another pretty interesting top. But you want to know a little fun fact? If you really start breaking it down, yes, we've seen a good couple of days, a good couple of weeks, but when you start looking at what happened all the way back in 2021, and we take ourselves that peak, we didn't ever cross it just now, and we barely just touched it earlier in the season. Now, whenever we talk about Bitcoin, we often like to state, oh, Bitcoin does a few multiples of its previous all-time high, right? And as at this point, it's also a pretty significant percentage, about, a pretty good percentage basically above its previous closes, above its previous top, like, I don't know, 80% or something. And funnily enough, even though Bitcoin has gone from $70,000, $69,000, all the way towards $122,000, let's just say almost 90% up over the past couple of years, altcoins, funnily enough, weren't even able to get back to that level. Now, of course, there's a chance that this is the season where BlackRock comes in, starts buying all the Bitcoin, right? We've talked about that, where all the clients are buying it through the ETFs and altcoins go to zero. But that's basically then what you're saying. If, right, this is the moment that altcoins cannot even get above their previous high, and this is where the market is over, let's just agree to disagree, because I still feel as if even though Bitcoin has done well, it hasn't really done that well, specifically if you take a look at all the attention. Delusion is not really here. My Uber driver hasn't spammed me yet about which coins I need to buy, and there have not really been any crazy runners. Of course, a couple of coins have been doing really good, but the retail had a little bit of excitement with XRP here, but even that excitement was because the all-time high was hit. We went slightly above it, but it was not broken by such severity that everybody started talking about it everywhere. Again, we had one really amazing day, another day that kind of was quite okay, and a little dump right now. Now, before we move on, there's another crypto project launching somewhere later today that I've got my eyes on right now that is called 𝗵𝗲𝗠𝗠𝗠𝗠𝗠𝗠𝗠𝗠𝗠𝗠𝗠𝗠𝗠𝗠𝗠𝗠𝗠𝗠滬 So I'll probably be doing a video a little bit later today, just diving a little bit more into exactly what they are and why it's quite interesting. But specifically in this type of market, I like to go for some of these new launches because the market is quite hot. Now, specifically, maybe right now, the market ain't as hot, like the last couple of hours. Okay. But overall, the market and specifically altcoins have been doing really, really well. And like you might have known from multiple of my different videos in the past and even a couple of videos ago, I like to buy coins exactly on launch or just before that. And one of the ones I got myself into is 𝗵𝗲𝗠𝗠𝗠𝗠𝗠𝗠𝗠𝗠𝗠𝗠𝗠𝗠. Long story short, I kind of feel as if they're hyping in. I don't know if that's the best way to say it, but they're basically grabbing some of the hype from the new on-chain perpetuals wave, from the old DeFi AI wave, really, really smart, hitting some of the most important keywords. And yeah, the simplest way I can put it is just on-chain perpetuals with real backed yield for the token. Because like I posted over on my Twitter, they've already got a pretty huge amount traded for being such a new protocol. Again, the launch of the token is only really today, and part of the fees they generate from it go back to the people that hold the token. I think it's pretty simple to understand the whole concept. And like I said, launching today might be something you want to monitor for. Even if you don't want to buy in, which I completely understand, maybe you want to check out the market here. What I always like to do is you take a look. Hey, how did they perform from day one? How did they perform for all the people that bought in early? Can I see a pattern there? And also, if the project did do really well, why did people want specifically this project? What was it about? And then you start to do a little bit more diligence in the project itself. I'm not your financial advisor. Never do I make any guarantees. I'm just looking at different projects which are quite interesting that I've gotten myself into now or a long time ago in terms of my investment. And again, I make no guarantees at all, but in this market, you got to do something, right? Yeah, but let's go on with the video. My expectation still, and this is not financial advice and I make no guarantees, is that it's going to be some turbulent times, a lot of pessimism, which is good because in bull markets, again, there's usually some crazy amounts of delusion. And now, for the most part, it's still people saying that no, this is not the moment where we run. And you'll just see, specifically from having experienced the previous runs, that it goes so absolutely crazy that all of a sudden the delusion starts getting out of control and things just start going crazy. And the funny thing is, you can keep saying, no, it's not going to happen. This was it. This was the end. But what if, what if, what if? And I countered that first of all with saying, yeah, but what if we do see a run like this? Because every single time it has happened. And also, from almost any angle, it does make sense. Bitcoin has continued to go up. And unless you're saying this is where Bitcoin tops out and goes to zero, but then show me your shorts. If you're really convinced, have you sold everything? And when you really start breaking it down, most people that are watching this, they do not think this is the end. They do not think it's going to zero. They just think it might be a break of sorts. But throughout history, the best thing that you could have done throughout all the time, right? Again, just look back at it. If you had longed every single time that the top, the previous local top was broken, you would have won. It could be that this time around, it's not true anymore, right? Out of every single local top after a breakout, right? You can see every single time there was an impulse, whenever it broke the previous high, it pumped like crazy. Every single time. Just keep looking back at it. Every single time for Bitcoin, it was the case. Every single time, every single time. Even I found yet another one, even right here, right? Basically, every single time. Now, it could be that this is the moment where the entire pattern of always up and always massively up after the high breakout changes. And all of a sudden, it's down. And we go all the way back to like 90 and stuff like that. But from this perspective, it doesn't seem like we'll ever go below like $108,000 per Bitcoin again. I mean, if you look back at the charts, yes, it's been so a few times somewhere. Not really, but it has happened where a few times we had a little bit of negativity. I mean, this time there wasn't. This time there was one negative candle. This time there wasn't. I'm just looking through here. This time there was also one red candle. If you just go through, you can see sometimes there's 1 week of red or something like that. But eventually it ends up with crazy pumps. Now the question is again, do I want to go against all we have seen in the past and all of a sudden think, no, there's not going to be a run? Or do I want to embrace it, risk it for the biscuit? And I keep saying, most people that are telling you, no, you should sell the top, sell the top. They don't realize that it's only a quote unquote temporary top. And when is that, right? For example, you would have already had to call the Bitcoin top, for example, at like 110 or something like that when we previously hit it. You would have missed the move from 110 all the way towards like 122, something like that. And for XRP, similarly, if you had said top, which top are you talking about then? $2.60? Or when? When exactly is that moment? Because right now at 360, there were a lot of people saying, oh, it's going to go down. But the funny thing is, they said it would never get above $3. Matter of fact, if you look at older videos, so many people said it would never go above $1 again. And what I learned from that, especially from looking back at older videos, is I should just ignore all the noise, just continue with my buying strategy, and realize from the back of my head that in bull markets, all I gotta do is just continue the spree, stacking up. And even earlier today, you noticed, right? XRP went below $3. A lot of people were able to buy back in, and it shot right back up to like 325, something like that. Now, you might think that is nothing, but if you were able to get in at, for example, at $3 exactly, catch yourself another nice 10% move up, if there was some leverage involved, could have been a really, really juicy trade. And that's the fun thing. Sometimes you can also take massive opportunity in the smaller moves, but generally, the main thing I want to say right here is, I personally think if you look back at this in a little while, you realize that it was all quite cheap. And this is not meant to be advice to you. I'm not making guarantees for you. I'm just saying I've been making these videos so many years in a row. And there's one fun thing, right? 𝗂𝗁, the founder of Binance, also says it like this. Every single time you're below an all-time high, you can consider that a dip. And I consider that for XRP, XLM, you name the coin, I consider it to be that way. That right now it's essentially still quite cheap to where it will be in the near future. And all I got to realize for myself is if I just keep this up, you'll remember, all right? You'll remember this. But anyway, I'll say one more thing. Every single time for almost any person out there, when the market is going up a lot, you think, oh, I should have bought more. But when the market's going down, you think, oh, I should have sold more. Oh, I shouldn't have. It's illogical because it's your emotions that are playing. I always say you should really try to just focus on a strategy, not too much on your emotions. And it's hard, but you'll learn over time. The reason I have zero stress over the market falling and why you wouldn't see me panicking right now is because I already understand the market will make some moves. And even if XRP goes back to $2.80, still within range where I'm not even stressed out about it. I saw some people on Twitter say, oh, if this breaks, it means we're going back down for another half a year. I don't consider all that. Most people are wrong. Most people are stupid. 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗏 had a really interesting post earlier today saying he tried to buy the S&P at the end of last year at like 4,900 or something. And the bank advisor said, don't go that hard. You're basically buying at the top. And right now we just made a new all-time high. 65 or something like that? I don't know the exact price right now. And it makes you realize most people, even the best of advisors, don't really fully know what they're talking about. All we can base it on is the past, right? And ultimately, it's just conviction. And as the crypto market has shown, if you've got conviction, if you're strong-willed, if you believe in what you hold thus far, it has always worked out. And if you're dabbling, you're debating, you're not sure because you've borrowed conviction, you listen to somebody else, it's going to be a hard freaking journey. I believe in my bags. I believe they'll go up over time. I'm really excited about them. Every single day, I'm just riding this easily. But the moment you're shifty about it, you're not so sure, that's also when the journey gets extremely difficult, when it becomes harder to buy dips, and when it becomes harder to hold after you were in a lot of profit before that. And to those, I always say, make sure you cash out some of the top next time, because maybe, just maybe, this greatness where you turn a little bit into a lot, which some people do by having this freaking conviction, is not for you, and you just are happy with, a 2x or even a 50% down if you buy the top and sell the bottom over a season. If that's fine with you, hey, go ahead and do it. But I would rather take the risk right now, knowing full well we could be wrong and crypto goes to zero, but I really like to take that chance that this is another generational run, a generational altcoin season, and I'm buying my freaking left ass off. I don't know why I said that. Anyway, that's about it. And in the meantime, you might be thinking, Dusty, oh, how are your bots doing? Bad. Many of them are down pretty tremendously. I mean, the ones we set up earlier, the XP bot is still in about $56,000 worth of profit. So overall, it's all doing pretty well. But you can see, for example, Virtuals took a pretty good dip. And the funny thing is, Ethereum here is not even down at all. Like, we're not even dumping that much, but just the price is moving down a little bit, can sometimes really, really hammer into your profit. But ultimately, it's all calculated. In my opinion, it'll all work out as long as I'm patient enough and I've got the funds to buy these dips. Yeah, that's about it. And if you want to join this trading or you want to check out below from where we're normally trading on, you'll find the links down below.